Did you know that Dean Phillips announced that he would not be running for re-election in the House? Did you know that Ron DeSantis was endorsed by Iowa evangelical leader Bob Vander Plaats? Did you know that Nikki Haley ties with Joe Biden in a matchup poll by Emerson College with 38% support each? Did you know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling for a new select committee to investigate those who partook in the January 6th panel? Did you know that the DNC raised $13.1 million last month? This tops the RNC's $7.1 million. Did you know that Geert Wilders said that he would not back sending Ukraine more money and weapons? He said they were needed for the Netherlands' own army. Did you know that Donald Trump leads Joe Biden in a matchup poll by Emerson College with 47% support compared to Biden's 43%? Did you know that the PVV party wants to ban mosques and the Quran? It also wants to forbid Islamic headscarves in government buildings. Did you know that Joe Manchin said he would consider a third-party bid for president and is planning to go on a national tour to see if he can draw enough support? Did you know that Chuck Schumer and Patty Murray said they would not agree to appropriations bills that have spending levels below those set by the debt limit deal? Did you know that Mitt Romney and Joe Manchin introduced a bill to establish a bicameral fiscal commission to find legislative solutions to decrease the debt? Did you know that Donald Trump's criminal charges are viewed by 40% of Republicans as a problem for Trump, according to a Yahoo News and YouGov poll? Did you know that Germany unveiled a €1.3 billion aid package to Ukraine that include 4 Irish TSLM air defense systems and artillery ammunition? Did you know that the Conservative Party of Canada has raised $23.3 million this year? This tops the Liberals by $13.5 million. Did you know that the EU saw 91,735 first-time asylum applicants? This was a 19% rise from August 2022. Did you know that the RNC spent $7.3 million in October? It ended the month with $9.1 million on hand and $2.9 million in debt. Did you know that Joe Biden leads a Democratic primary poll by Yahoo News and YouGov with 64% support? Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips garnered 4% support each. Did you know that Lauren Boebert will be aided by the Club for Growth's outside spending in her 2024 re-election bid? This is unlike in 2022, when she had no outside monetary aid. Did you know that Joe Biden's age is a concern for Democrats? A Yahoo News and YouGov poll found that 73% of Democrats said age was a problem for Biden's fitness for the presidency. Did you know that Donald Trump is viewed by some as not being fit to serve as president? A Yahoo News and YouGov poll found that 38% said he was fit to serve while 49% said he was not. Did you know that Geert Wilders advocates shifting the embassy of the Netherlands from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? He also calls for closing the Dutch diplomatic post in Ramallah, home of the Palestinian Authority. Did you know that George Santos said he expects his expulsion resolution to be successful? During a conversation on X Spaces, Santos said he had done the math repeatedly and that it didn't look good. Did you know that U.S. voters largely back increased spending at the border? An NBC News poll found that 74% support funding for security at the border, compared to 22% who oppose it. Did you know that Mike Johnson announced that he would post online video clips from the Capitol complex on the day of the January 6th riots? The clips will be gathered from a tranche of tens of thousands of hours of security footage. Did you know that Donald Trump leads 538's polling average for the Iowa GOP caucus with 45% support? DeSantis follows with 17.5%. Haley trails with 15.3%. Did you know that the Democratic National Committee raised $15.9 million in October? It also had $17.7 million on hand at the end of the month along with $238,000 in debt. Did you know that Ken Buck may not want Donald Trump to win the GOP primary? Buck said anyone who said the election was stolen is lying to America and also said that Joe Biden needs to be defeated by someone who is not lying to the nation. Did you know that Donald Trump leads a New Hampshire GOP primary poll with 46% support among registered Republican or undeclared New Hampshire voters? Nikki Haley trailed with 18%. Chris Christie followed with 11%. Did you know that U.S. voters are increasingly worried about the deficit? According to a Pew Research survey, 56% of Americans rate the budget deficit as a very big national problem, up from 51% last year. Did you know that Nikki Haley was endorsed by the Charles Koch-backed group Americans for Prosperity Action? The group said Haley was the strongest candidate for defeating Trump in the GOP primaries as well as President Biden in the general election. Did you know that Joe Biden will not attend COP28 because he is busy with the Israel-Hamas war? However, climate envoy John Kerry, National Climate Advisor Ali Zaidi and White House Advisor John Podesta will attend. Did you know that Finland will see Frontex send 50 officers to Finland's border with Russia? This news comes as Finland has closed all but one of its border points with Russia and accuses Russia of engaging in hybrid warfare following a spike in migration. Did you know that Jeremy Hunt has pledged up to £7 million over the next 3 years to charities tackling anti-Semitism in the UK? London saw 408 anti-Semitic offences recorded in October compared to 28 in the same period last year. Did you know that Mateusz Morawiecki has yet again been chosen to be Poland's prime minister despite his Law and Justice party failing to form a coalition following the recent election? This means Law and Justice risks losing a vote of confidence in Parliament and giving way to a new government. Did you know that Chuck Schumer plans to hold a vote on President Biden's request for aid to Ukraine and Israel as soon as the week of December 4th? The coming bill could include border provisions sought by the Senate GOP, who believe Mike Johnson will only take up a bill that addresses the border. Did you know that the UK saw net migration hit a record-breaking 745,000 in 2022, according to revised figures from the Office for National Statistics? 672,000 people arrived in the UK in the 12 months to June 2023. Did you know that Donald Trump leads a poll among GOP primary voters considering who to vote for? A 538/Washington Post/Ipsos poll found that 63% consider voting for Trump. DeSantis trailed with 48. Nikki Haley followed with 38. Did you know that U.S. swing state voters will largely vote for a candidate on the basis of the economy? A New York Times and Siena College poll found that 57% of registered swing state voters said economic issues were the most important factor determining who they will vote for in 2024. Just 19% ranked the current state of the economy as excellent or good. Did you know that the Biden administration is opening $2 billion toward helping disadvantaged communities combat climate change and air pollution? The grants are expected to fund projects that make communities more resilient to climate impacts, prevent, monitor or clean up pollution, invest in low and no emission energy projects, and reduce indoor air pollution. Did you know that Finland will close all but one of its remaining border crossings with Russia? Migrants without proper documentation rose from a few dozen in September and October to around 600 in November, and Finland suspects Russia is aiding this spike. The arrivals include those from Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Kenya, Morocco, and Somalia, border officials said. Did you know that Hungary saw the ruling party Fidesz unveil a bill supposedly aimed at defending against outside political interference? This news comes as Viktor Orbán continues his feud with the EU over democratic rights in Hungary. The bill would set up a separate authority to explore and monitor risks of political interference and recommend changes in regulations, and also ban foreign financing for parties or groups running for election with up to 3 years in prison.